Good morning. In this session, we are going to see about the static and dynamic analysis of the multi-area system. A two-area system is also called as multi-area system, and this is the block diagram of your two-area system with this is a control area 1 and this is the blocks for the control area 2. Both the blocks are connected via the tie line power. PC1 and PC2 are the speed changes setting, and your PG1, PG2 are your generation of the power generation of your area 1 and area 2, and PD is your demand, power demand, and this is the block for your tie line power. And this will be a governor turbine blocks, and this will be a power system with load block. So this will be your whole block diagram for the two area system. Now let's analyze the static analysis of the uncontrolled two area system. What is uncontrolled? If you recollect, uncontrolled system means we are going to change, we are going to keep set our speed changes setting as 0, and only the demand, power demand will be changing. So speed changes setting del PC1, del PC2 are equal to 0, and your power demand PD1, PD2 value will be changing. We are going to give a step change in the load. While deriving the block diagram of the single area system, we have seen the static steady state response for uncontrolled case. So from that we have obtained del Pg1 static is equal to minus 1 by R1 into del F static. Similarly for area 2, del Pg2 is given like this. Now the net surplus power is given by the equation del Pgi minus del Pd. So difference in the generation and demand will be equal to the stored kinetic energy of the generator rotor, and this will be the change in load due to the change in frequency, and this will be the incremental change due to the tie line power. As it is a two area system, we have to include the tie line power also for the net surplus power. Now under steady state condition, here d by dt of the del f will be equal to 0. So this term will be going to 0. So that is why we are doing like this, means we are neglecting our kinetic energy, and then after neglecting the kinetic energy, substitute the value for del Pgi. So del Pg1 and del Pg2 we have derived the equation. So substitute for del Pg1. This is your del Pg1 minus del Pd1 equal to kinetic energy term will be going. So only B1 del F static and del P tie line 1. Similarly, for area 2, your equation will be expressed like this. And we know the relation between our del P tie line 2 and del P tie line 1. Between the two tie line will be minus A12. The difference will be minus A12. A12 is the ratio of your rated power for area 1 to area 2. So our control area 2's equation will be coming like this. Now from the equation 1, that is control area 1, we are segregating our del F static to one side. So when we segregate del F static to one side with tie line power, your equation will be coming like this. And this B1 plus 1 by R1, it is your beta 1. Beta is your area frequency response characteristics. We have seen this earlier in uncontrolled case of static analysis of single area system. Similarly, for area 2, minus del PD2 equal to beta 2 into minus tie line power. So when we are writing these two equations in matrix form, this will be a matrix form. So minus del PD1 equal to 1 into del P tie line 1 plus beta 1 into del f, right? So when your expression will be coming like this. Next equation, by applying Cramer's rule, we'll be able to find these values del P tie line 1 and del f static. Okay, so we have this is our Cramer's rule. So determinant, you have to replace this first column with this term and take determinant divided by this whole term. So this is a Cramer's rule, and this is the value for your Cramer's rule. Del f, as it is a second term, we have to replace b1, beta 1, beta 2 by this del pd1 and del pd2. So your del f equation term will be coming like this. If area 1 and area 2 are identical, then we are going to assume our beta 1 equal to beta 2 equal to beta, and your regulation will be equal to R, and your B value will be equal to B1, B2 will be equal to B. So when you substitute all these assumptions in your tie line 1 and del F, we'll be getting our equation like this. So your del tie line 1 will be difference in your demand in area 1 and area 2 divided by 2. If you assume the load change occurs only in area 2, so your del PD1 will be equal to 0. When this term goes to 0, your tie line power will be del PD2 by 2. That is, half of the load added in second area is supplied by the area 1 via the tie line. Similarly, if we consider our del F for frequency change and your area 1 demand is equal to 0, then this term will be going to 0 and this will be your expression for del F will be of this. That means half of the steady state error in isolated case is given like this. With several systems interconnected, the steady state frequency and the tie line power would be reduced by 50%. Next, we are going to see the dynamic response of the two area system. In dynamic response, we are going to assume certain assumptions like both the areas are identical, and we are first initially itself we are assuming our time constant for governor and turbine will be equal to 0. The damping constant of the two areas are neglected. V1, V2 are neglected. The net surplus power is given as the change in generation minus demand. Del Pg minus del Pd will be equal to stored kinetic energy of the generator plus change in frequency due to change in load and your tie line power. And here for dynamic analysis, we have assumed our damping constant is equal to 0. So this term will be going to 0. So our surplus power is reduced to this equation. So this is for area 1 and this is for area 2. When we take the Laplace transform for these two equations, the expression will be reduced like this. And when we segregate our del F1 of S, so this is your del F1 of S, this equation is for area 1 and this is the frequency equation for area 2. Under dynamic condition, we have assumed both the areas are identical. So area 1 is identical to area 2. That means we will not have this R1, R2. All the values will be R. And we have assumed our time constant Tg and Tt will be equal to 0. So this block, combination of your governor and turbine block will be equal to 1. Similarly, this block will also be equal to 1. So from this block diagram, we can obtain our Tg, our del Pg value will be equal to minus del F1 of S by R, and Pg2 value will be minus del F2 of S by R. And the tie line power between the two things can be written like this. If you see the block diagram, you can understand this. And the difference between your tie line 1 and tie line 2 will be negative of your tie line will be a minus sign only, and as it is identical system, we have assumed our power generated in area 1 will be equal to rated power of the area 2. Now substitute all these values, the values obtained from the block diagram in the del F1 of S and del F2 of S. When you substitute, your expression will be coming like this, these two equations. Okay, now we have obtained our del F1 of S and del F2 of S. So substitute these two equations, del F1 of S and F2 of S, in del P tie line equation. So this is how your after substituting for del F1 of S and del F2 of S, this is how your equation will be. It is just a simplification and a cross multiplication. You can understand. In this, if you see, you will be having del P tie 1 on the left side as well as on the right side. Bring this to left side. So this term will also be included. It is a product. This pi t1 to f, this term will be a product of this. So, and here it is minus 2. When we bring this to the left side, your expression will be plus 1 plus this whole equation, taking this del p tilde 1 common outside. Then we are taking LCM and cancelling our denominator part, and our expression is reduced to this. Our reduced expression for del p tilde will be of this form. Now, the system response will be based upon the characteristic equation. Consider the denominator equation. It is of the form s square plus 2s alpha plus omega square. It is of this form. When we solve this equation, we will be getting our alpha and omega square values, both values. This is your omega naught square, and this is your alpha value. Okay. When you solve this, both the values will be positive. So our system is stable and completely damped. The system may oscillate at angular frequency omega naught equal to omega square minus alpha square, and the system damping is strongly depends upon the alpha parameter. System damping strongly depends upon the alpha parameter. Since your F naught and H are constant, the damping, this F naught and H are constant, so the damping frequency will be a function of the R. When the lower the value of R gives the stronger damping, higher value of R leads to poor damping of the system. The system becomes weak if you are having our higher value of R. So this comes to the end of your dynamic analysis of your multi-area system. Thank you.